Welcome to class. We're going to really dive into modify, modify, modify today. So that is taking yoga to what we acknowledge to be our own limitations, to be self-compassionate and kind, and to use some techniques and some mechanical approach to the poses that will allow you to adapt for your own body, right? And we do these often in class anyway, but I'll just introduce some new ones for some nice ideas. You can see already I'm modifying with this cross-legged pose and with the blocks. But in terms of what you'll need, I really recommend having a chair handy or a stool, and block one, block two is fine. Just having one is fine, and our handy dandy strap. So we're going to begin in seated. And as I usually say, we have that cushion or blanket roll, or you can really take these in a chair. It's fine to take some of the seated poses in a chair, especially sitting up on the edge of the chair and allowing those sits bones to anchor. We can still root down and feel that earth connection that way too. So we're going to begin in seated position and just review that position and that alignment of our seat, right? Let's close the eyes so we can cut out our distractions. Take the hands to the thighs. Feel the connection. If you're in that seat, you can feel the connection through the bottoms of your feet, through the roots there. And if you're seated with me here on the floor, you're on the edge of that cushion. You can feel those sits bones. Feel free to rock back and forth and just notice the sits bones on the earth. You can rock side to side and then finding yourself orbiting around the center of the sits bones and feeling that root in between them, in the exact center of the center. And then we have the pelvis spilling forward. So that's why we want to sit ourselves up. So we spill that pelvis slightly forward, allowing the natural curve in the low back. Another inhale and exhale, and we're traveling up the spine to the back of the ribs. And as we exhale, noticing those low ribs can tuck in towards the back body, and you'll feel that engagement right there in the middle. Your breath empowering your abdominal muscles, or vice versa. Let's take that tour on past the shoulder blades. Notice them gliding down the back. And then onto the shoulders, aligning them with the ears and the shoulders with the hips. Kind of just sway around, little subtle movements in your space, noticing that. On up past the transition to our neck and that lovely graceful curve, and our skull, the back of the skull aligned with the sacrum at the base of the spine. Just all of these structures that support us taking that tall stance or seat. And as you exhale and inhale, begin to slip into the mind, all of the flurry of the mind. Just visit what's going on. If there are thoughts, activity, something perhaps repeating itself, notice the mind. And then we'll focus in on that third eye in between the eyebrows and seeing if we can find our non-judgment witnessing from that third eye of the internal workings of the body, of the internal workings of the mind, taking our beginner's mind. So we're not judging, we're just beholding as if we've not seen this before. Inhale and exhale. We'll take a nice even breath too through our practice, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 2, exhaling for 4 counts, and holding for 2. And the same again, inhaling, 4 counts, 2 counts holding, exhale, 4 counts, 2 counts holding, etc. Let's take a few rotations like this. If you need to adjust with the hands beside you, you can do that. Notice the body subtly moves with the breath. counting out this rectangular breath. So to keep things even and still in the mind, got that balance. And then allow that exhale to just release the tension in the body. Inhale rejuvenates, and we flutter the eyes open and allow the hands to drift beside you on the mat so you feel further roots through the fingertips. And if you're in a chair, you would just place the hands a little more pressing into the thighs. Inhale, exhale. So we're going to just review some modifications of seated positions. Right now, you can see I have the blocks underneath the knees. This really helps my hips. One of them is quite stiff, so I try to keep that support underneath the knees. If we kneel seated, you can join me if you'd like, taking those knees together and then coming to a kneeling position, or you can stay however you'd like to sit. We can take that blanket behind the knees, right? I'll sit sideways so you can see it. You can sit on top of the blanket like that. It's a nice massage for the hamstrings and the calves too. So I love this modification. It lifts the hips up, but it can give that massage to the back body, to the back of the legs. And if you want to lift up even higher, you can take a block at whatever setting you'd like and place it on the sits bones. So this is a nice alternate seat that allows that same posture stacking of those important landmarks. But we still got our breath, we still got connection, and we don't have that any possible discomfort in the knees or the hips. Lovely modification. So I'm going to take that modification as I sit here coming into our neck work. So let's, you can find one of those modifications if you'd like. Take the fingertips beside you, find the roots. So through the practice today, we're going to try, the effort here is to go to 75% of our extension. So I know we sometimes get into this flow and we try to kind of push. Let's try to encourage ourselves to go back to that, back it off about 25%. So let's do it together. Take the fingertips. Let's root down through the fingertips. Inhale, look forward, find your neutral chin in space here. And then look over your right shoulder, but only over the right shoulder, about 75%. Come back through center and over to the left. And back through center. Look up at the sky again. See if you can give that witnessing and awareness of what 75% would be. And then exhale, chin towards your heart. And then you can stop before you get all the way down. We're just feeling a gentle lengthening of the neck, as well as feeling the fingertips rooting into the floor. Yes, and then use your inhale, that nice even 4 count, to come on up. And sigh it out, 4 counts. And as you sigh it out, allow the right ear to drift towards the right shoulder. But again, let's keep it at 75%. That's its own work, right? To see if you can not drift all the way down. Continue that contact through the left fingertips on the floor. If you are wanting a modification, you can take a block and just place it there on your fingertips there. And then lean on over to the right, keeping that softness through the face. And now we're going to take that little trip with our chin towards the right shoulder. So you don't have to go all the way, just kind of look down at the shoulder. And then look forward. Okay, here's the modification I use a lot, which is instead of asking your head to come on up and all those neck muscles, take your right hand, lift that head on up. And then if you have that modification with the block on the other side, as I'm sitting on a block and I have the blankets underneath the knees, behind the knees, so that I can keep that comfortable seat. And then take the right fingertips either to the block or the floor, continuing through the left side as well. Inhale, and then with the drift of that exhale, release the tension out of the neck and allow the left ear to come down to the left shoulder, 75% of what you might normally do. That's our work today. Just to be soft with ourselves and non-striving. We're in a striving world, so let's try to visit the other possibility. Take your left hand to your left ear and kindly lift that head. Oh, sorry, let's stay down, sorry. Bring the left fingertips down and look towards our left shoulder. And then look on back up. Yes, and then allow the head to come up. Take the hands to the thighs. Inhale, 4 counts, hold for 2. Exhale, 4 counts, hold for 2. And just feel the hands on the thighs and that sense of grounding, and connect with your breath. Inhale and exhale. And then I'm going to show you some modification with an arm raise. Take the palms out to the arms out to the side and the palms up to the sky, and then reach up just to a V with the arms, just a V. We're not reaching up to that prayer position because, again, that's extreme. Just showing you that we can reach and pull those shoulders away from the ears, and we can just take that extension from the hips on up to the fingertips, but we don't have to be striving and reaching. And then we can take the palms down to the earth and just come down towards the floor. And then palms up to that limit there, to the V shape, a wide V, and then down, and then up. As you come up, just feel that sense of receiving through your hands. And then as you come down, palms down, bring the energy down to the lower parts of the body. As we inhale up, when we get up to the 75% limit with our palms up, we're going to begin to look over towards the right side, keeping those V arms, the sternum coming towards the right. Again, we're not going to our extreme, we're staying soft. Now we're taking the hands down, both hands down to the floor, palms down. And then as the palms come up, we're coming back to the center, keeping it to that V shape. And notice this is toning through the arms, right? As we lift in that different angle. Exhale, let's turn over towards the left, just towards the left. And then the palms down and both hands down towards the floor. We don't have to touch down. Palms up, let's come back to center. So let's begin to follow the breath and just follow your energy to the right, to the left. Feeling that axis, again, of the middle, but we're taking a soft trip through the middle here. As you come back up with the palms up, come to the center V, and then down to the left. Follow your breath. Really inhale into the ribs, feeling that centeredness of the pelvis as the mid and upper spine make a trip. Right to left, east to west, north to south, whatever you're going. Yes. Beautiful. Let's bring it on up to the center. And then let's take it to our wingspan. So fingertips out here. And then let's take that same twist with the helicopter arms, right to left. Feeling that dynamic fluidity in the spine. Keeping it nice and soft. Lift the shoulders up to the ears. Feel the reach from the hips to the shoulders, and then draw them away. Lengthen the sides of the neck, reaching through the fingertips. And then let's take those cactus arms up, palms open, fingers open, feeling that extension, all of the energy that we carry in each of our fingers through the palms. And then we're going to take the thumbs behind us and then bring the forearms towards each other. This time we're going to stop at our shoulder width there. So, shoulder height, and the elbows are at the level with the shoulders. So you know how we come in usually bringing them together? Let's just keep them shoulder width and then lift them up to the sky and then open up. So we're doing a softer version of what we normally do. So we're modifying that, that extension of mobility to be a little bit less than that full extension and that full effort. So let's repeat here. And just notice what this feels like to take a little softer approach. We're visiting a different energy. You can even take the block now And bring it in front of the body. So we have that block helping us. Take it in between the palms in front of the body. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears and then draw them back as we tuck the low ribs in and align ourselves. Beautiful. Now lift that block up towards the sky and then bring it down. But we're just going towards the sky and towards the floor. Keeping those shoulders lengthened, keeping the neck lengthened as you lift up and then down. So we're still really engaging our muscles here in the arms, getting a little workout, but not taking those joints to their full extension. And taking the stress out of movement. Inhale and exhale, bringing the block down. Now we'll grab the strap. And then taking the strap in front of us, really widen the strap so that it's like past the shoulders, and take that tension and hold the tension in between the hands, right? So we're engaging the shoulders and then lift it up towards the sky, only to 75% of where you normally would go, and then bring it down and up. And you can take a millimeter higher each time. I'm just trying to get our minds fresh to a beginner's mind so that we're doing something differently. It's so good for ourselves to do things a little differently. Exhale as you come down. Inhale up. Hold this up skyward. So we're holding that tension between the hands, keeping a nice active energy in the arms. It's a nice way to take a side bend. So let's lean on over towards the right. And then the left. And right. And you can do this seated in a chair as well, as I just want to remind you, if the knees get tired or the hips get tired, please come to a chair. So we're going to keep this lift here, and we're going to take that modified cow face pose. So with the arms. So let's let go of the left side, lift the right up, nice to the sky, and then bend the right arm so that the hand is coming to the back of the skull. Take your palm of the left, look facing behind you as you reach out, and just find the base of the strap. And let's increase that tension between the hands and the back so that left hand can be at the sacrum, and just get that posture nice in those aligned points, the base of the pelvis, base of the diaphragm, and the base of the neck, crown of the head. Inhale. As you exhale, pressing in the low ribs, drawing into the center. And then we'll take a side bend here. So we're leaning over towards the left side, lengthening on the right side. Feeling the support of that forearm on the back of your head. So you can feel free to get a little push there with the head and the hand, and then come on back up. And then we'll take it out and just place the strap down and just shake out your arm. Great. And then we'll modify that same on the other side. So lift the strap up so that there's a nice long side behind you. And lift on up and bend the left elbow and feel the left hand behind your skull. And you're going to feel the forearm most likely on your back of the skull. Reach the right arm, palm back. And then we'll take that. Find that part of the strap. You can even walk it down towards the sacrum a little bit so you can take a kinder approach to this extension. As you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2 as you bring the focus into the base of the pelvis. And then as you exhale for 4, draw it into the center. And hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Sorry, I meant for 2. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 4. Hold for 2. Feeling supported by the breath. Great. And then unwind. Take that strap to the side. We're going to take some modified child's pose here. Um, and at the same, later on, we'll be using that chair. So have that handy. So let's take ourselves to the base of the mat, and you want to cushion your knees, the shins with that blanket, as I always say, because that is part of our compassionate yoga, is to cushion if we need it. But in child's pose, again, another modification I use is the same as kneeling. So the blanket behind the knees at that hinge point of the knees, come forward into a tabletop. And then if you want to place that blanket behind the knees, just notice what this is going to feel like as you, so you can have a cushion underneath you, and you could have a cushion behind your knees, and then take the hips back towards the heels, big toes touching. And just notice that different sensation there. As we take the block to its high point underneath the head, bring the forearms down to the floor, and just bring the third eye and the forehead to the block. So I have it on the high point just to start keeping that bend so much out of the hips. Take the forearms below you. So this is a modified child, so you can release through the forehead. Feel the breath of the belly and the contact with the thighs. And exhale, feed the third eye with that exhale. And then bringing the block down to its next lower level, you could consider going a little bit lower. And always adjust this to whatever you need. Nice modification. If you don't want to fold so deeply, you can still find that stillness in the third eye. We can still get that sense of bowing to our practice, bowing to the earth, and releasing whatever you want to release through this exhale. And hold it for 2 at the end of the exhale. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 4. Sweet. Come on up. Lift the head up. And then we're going to take the block at its the lowest point, and we're going to come on up towards a tabletop. So again, you can cushion underneath the knees, or you can take that blanket away from behind the knees. We're going to take the forearms down. In my case, I have 2 blocks. If you have 2 blocks, it's great. And this is a modification for wrists for our tabletop. So we're still going to do that tabletop sequence, but we can take the forearms to the 2 blocks, or if you just have one, you can take both forearms into that block in a prayer position with the hands. So this is, instead of that extreme a diagonal on your forearms on the floor, you can just keep that to whatever setting on these blocks you need, which I have it at that halfway, that mid setting. Just take the forearms down, and you can take it into prayer if you want to make sure that the hands join here. So let's find that modification that's comfortable for you, keeping, of course, the shins connected to that blanket behind you, making sure, protecting our knees, that we cushion underneath the shins and feel that as our anchor. Inhale, exhale, fortify through the center, feeling the abdominals engage, maybe the back of our ribs lift a little bit towards the sky. And then curl into a very slight cat pose, so keep it soft today. Cat, and exhale into cow. Inhale into a cat, so we're just going into a not so scared cat. And exhaling into a nice soft cow. And as you do this, just feel those connections in the spine. Close the eyes. and then coming back to your center, find neutral. Slide the hips back, and what we're going to do now is let's just imagine that this is too much for our knees. This, child's pose, we're doing a sequence. We're going to flip it. So this is something you can decide at any time that this bothers you, is to flip it on your back. So we're going to do that. So let's take ourselves, the seat to the floor, and take ourselves to the side. So getting down into that recline too, you can slide onto your side and then find the bent knees and just lie down on the floor with the bent knees, moving the props aside for the moment. There we go. So this is just our navigating through and being able to have the body absorb this idea of modifying. It's not always easy to do that when you're following a teacher. So I'm trying to kind of follow through some of those pathways for us. Take the feet to the floor, hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Let's find that alignment. So if someone's doing child's pose or a teacher's doing child's pose and you're like, that isn't working for me, you come onto your back and just notice this feeling here. We're going to still do that flexion in the knees as we invite the knees towards us, hugging the knees in. Let's take our hands to the back of the thighs instead of the shins. Another nice soft approach. As we take the sacrum and place it on the floor. So feel that alignment. We're taking still the base of the neck, the diaphragm, and the base of the pelvis, and we're aligning those. Now we can take the big toes stay together and the knees can go out towards the armpits. So we're just turning our child's pose upside down. Inhale, exhale. Instead of the third eye on the floor, you can feel the back of your third eye through the back of the skull. And that's rooting and finding that earth connection. Inhale, exhale, and then take the knees together, just helping with your hands. Let's keep our feet together as we take the feet to the floor, just next to each other, and the knees are going to stay together here. And sometimes in child's pose, we do a side to side. So we're going to take our arms beside the body in this recline alternative. Fold the shoulders down down to the floor. Hug that floor in the reverse with our arms pressing into the floor. And now we're going to ease through the knees and just rock side to side. So this is a nice release for the low back. Find your breath. And cradle that low back. And if you have a strap nearby, we can even add some fun strap to this, which is to take the strap underneath the thighs, behind the thighs, hold the strap in the right and the left hand, and use that rocking action of the strap right to left to open up through the low back and open up through the hips, keeping that deep flexion out of the hips that some people find really uncomfortable in child's pose. There's no pressure on the floor, on the knees. Such a great spa experience. See if you can get those back muscles to release with your exhale. And then come on back to center and release the strap. And now we're going to do an upside down tabletop. So take the feet apart, knees wide apart. And again, if we're in tabletop and you're ever feeling like that's too much for your knees, same concept, flip it over. So we're going to take that, and first we're going to find a neutral spine and find those muscles that support that alignment. We'd be doing this in tabletop too. Take the arms beside you at first. Inhale, exhale, draw out through the base of our pelvis. 4 counts, feel the diaphragm and the base of the neck. Each breath is going to engage those muscles expanding and contracting. keeping the framework of our torso nice and solid. On your next exhale, allow the arms to reach up towards the sky through the fingertips. And just to make sure we are turning this concept upside down, let's flex the wrist so that the palms are facing up towards the sky. Just notice that feeling. So we're kind of turning things upside down, and then take the palms towards each other. As you take the palms toward each other, draw the shoulders down on either side of the sternum. Feel that engagement as you press into the floor with the back of your shoulders. Let's take another breath to engage the core. Finding our framework nice and strong. We're going to lift the right foot off the floor and then place it down. Find the center there and then lift the left foot off the floor and place it down. And then the right foot and then the left foot with your breath. And then we're going to follow with our corresponding wrist. So if we were in tabletop, this would be the bird dog pose. This is the equivalent. We're still getting that core alignment, but gravity is a little more helpful to our joints. Keeping that flexion in the knees, so just a 90-degree flexion. And when you bring the arm towards the ears, you don't have to go to full extension, but the most important part is keeping your center stable. So now let's take, when you're done with your next left side, let's lift up the right side. So the right arm goes up and the right knee and the right foot. And then as we come down, we're going to bring the right heel down and lengthen through the right leg and keep it straight. So straightening out and the right arm comes down. And keeping a nice strong core as you exhale, slide that heel back to where it was and that foot on the floor. Lift the right arm. And then we're going to lift the left knee and the left arm. And come on back to the floor. Slide the left heel down towards the bottom of the mat. Keeping your right arm up. And then slide the left heel. And lift on up and keep the feet. Find our framework, our original framework, lifting the arms up. And now lift the right side. Right arm. I know this is kind of like a game of Twister. Slide the right foot down towards the floor. Right arm comes down. And then slide on back, but follow that breath each exhale, keeping the center nice and strong and stable. If the low back starts to strain, don't go out to the straight leg, just keep it bent. Left arm, left knee, slide it down and slide it back up. And now we'll lift both arms up next to the ears as we lengthen through the side bodies, feeling the back body release. Now we'll take our right arm down, keeping the left arm next to left ear. Let's take our left leg and lengthen. So we're going to lengthen our left side, reaching the foot down away from the hand and the hand away from the foot. Then release into the back body. And then bend the left knee, bring the left arm down to the body. And we're going to reach the right arm next to right ear and straighten out the right leg. Lengthening, and then bring the right arm down and the right foot to the floor. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale. Let's invite the left knee towards the face. Circle our ankle, so when we go up to stand, we're nice and steady. And then take that left hip and we're going to circle through the knee. We can take the back of the thigh as well. And then circle in the other direction.
Drift the left foot to the floor. Inhale the right knee towards you. Hug it in. And circle it out. Oh, circle the ankle first, sorry. And then circle the other direction. Excellent. Now let's circle our knee. And then circle the other direction. Make the circle small. And then find the foot on the floor. We're going to roll onto our side and lift on up to a side sit for the moment. And then just shift over so that we're going to adjust and bring that chair towards us. Or however you need to get up, you might need to go get that chair. We're going to place the chair at the top of our mat, so with the seat facing towards us. So this is just a reminder that we can use a chair whenever we want to get up in yoga class. If we're following a flow and we have to actually stand and it's uncomfortable, make sure you cushion the shins beneath us. So we're going to come so that the knees, we're going to just kneel onto that blanket and take the hands to the front of the seat of the chair. And from here, let's just take the hands forward and bring the right foot forward and hold onto that chair. So taking that right foot forward, taking a high lunge, but we're taking those hands to the chair, keeping that pressure there, just that little lift, and our hands there can keep the pressure off of the knee, especially if you keep the blanket in that roll underneath so that the kneecap is filling forward. Inhale, exhale, drop the tailbone. Let's take that right hand, hold onto the seat of the chair, lift the left arm up, lengthen and lean on over towards the right. And then back, bringing the left hand to the seat of the chair. Hold on to both sides of the seat of the chair as you bring the right leg back, balancing on the shin, not on the knee, and bring your left foot forward. As you exhale, come to vertical, drawing the shin towards the front foot. Left hand stays on that seat of the chair as we reach the right arm up. Lengthen from knee to fingertips as we lean on over towards the left. Ironing out that fabric. Keeping the gaze steady and soft at the same time. Reach on up. Hold onto the chair now. We're going to stand up from here. So pressing through that front foot, curl the toes under in the back foot, hold onto the chair. Standing strong on the front foot. Let's take the hands to the top of the chair and begin to straighten that front leg and come on up to standing. So making sure that we have that something to help us get up, absolutely fine. So always have that chair nearby if you need it. So now we're going to take some fun modifications of our upper sequences. Let's move that blanket out of the way. Beautiful. And we'll say we're coming into a downward dog flow here, but we're going to modify the down dog. So let's take the chair the other way. As you exhale, take that strong core when you move that chair, okay? Great. Okay, take to yourself to the base of the mat so that the block is in front of you. When you come into mountain, make sure those feet are hip width apart. Stand strong. And when you draw that exhale in, let's draw the knees together, the legs together, magnetize them as if you're squeezing that block. Inhale the arms next to the ears. Let's take them out to the V. So we're not in that extreme reach. Now we're going to bend the knees slightly, but line up those posture points, and then hinging at the hips, reach for the top of the chair. Keeping the knees bent, we're going to reach forward and lengthen as we would in down dog. We're just holding onto the chair and reaching those hips back. keeping the knees bent. But let's use those same PowerPoints, not the PowerPoint that we present on, but PowerPoints in the body. Exhale, keeping the knees bent. So this is an alternate to down dog, making sure the shoulders draw away from the ears. And we engage those bigger back muscles. Nice alternative here. Still lengthening through the back. On the exhale, you can begin to straighten the legs or just keep them bent. That's fine. And let's press into the chair and step the right foot forward towards the chair. And we're going to take a warrior one here, holding onto that back of the chair, angle the back foot. And let's take that right foot towards the chair, nice and pointing towards that top of the mat. Draw the left hip forward. Holding onto the chair, we're going to bend the right knee. Another reminder to not go to our full extension of this pose, but only about 75%. So you'll want to step that left leg back, left foot back, sorry. And let's wrap ourselves around the center. Even as we're holding onto that chair, we're aware of our center. But see how this still engages that part of our mind, beginner's mind, exploration, without asking too much of our joints. Modified warrior one. Beautiful. Now we're going to take our tiptoe on the left toes behind us. And we're going to just keep that tiptoe. As we begin to straighten through the front leg, we're going to come up into a balance, a diagonal balancing stick, holding onto the chair. Straightening out the right leg, keeping that left leg reaching back in a flex position. We can still find that core energy, lining back of skull to sacrum, reaching that back leg. And then we can tiptoe back to our warrior one. Exhaling. Stepping forward, let's balance again. And this time you can even play with letting go along the way. But these assists and modifications can be so fabulous for our joints. Bring that left foot forward. And from here, let's stand in a strong mountain pose. Hold onto the chair or bring the arms next to the body. As you exhale, you've got that imaginary block between the feet or between the thighs. Squeeze in. And then take that chair, tiptoe back with your right toes. And we'll drop into warrior one on this side. Drop the pelvis down. So again, let's just find where the mind might bring us if we went to 75%, 3/4 of the way into this bend. Can we engage those abdominals a little bit better, a little bit more attuned? Still the mind. And then leaning forward on the left foot, let's straighten the left leg and reach back with the right. Release for a balance if you'd like through the hands. On up or flying, whatever you want. On your next exhale, let's reach back with those right toes and find that warrior one again. Nice. Pressing into the chair, up on towards the balance. And then bring that right foot forward. And we're going to walk ourselves back to that adapted down dog. Feet at the back of the mat. And reach back. Maybe your hamstrings lengthen a little more so you can straighten the legs. Or if that flexion doesn't work for your low back, Bend the knees and just find the length there, carving out space for the vertebrae in between those vertebrae. Try to release that heart towards the floor. Draw the shoulders towards the ribs so we feel that strength. Bend the knees, walk towards the chair. And if there's any props on the side, actually, maybe we can, I'm not going to do it that way, but you could move your chair in front of your mat so that the wide side is around you. I'm going to show it the sideways way so you guys can see what I'm doing. So you can take a wide stance on either side of the chair, holding onto the back of the chair, making sure we're aligned in our posture here. Taking the left foot over to the side, we're going to go towards a supported triangle, but we're going to take a little trip down, but not our usual extreme. So we're turning the left toes out and our hips are facing the chair. Take the hands to the chair, drawing the feet together, left heel, right arch alignment. Draw those feet together, soften through that left knee, and lean on over into our adapted triangle. Keeping both sides of your body long. And then come on back up through an inhale. Try it to the other side. Switch the feet. And lean on over, softening. But as you exhaling, keeping that abdominal engagement. Pressing through the feet. Let's come on up. And bring the heels towards you. We're doing that supported goddess pose. So the feet out to the side. Inhale, hold onto the chair. Exhale, dropping those hips down and the knees out. And let go if you want to, or hold on. Press through the feet as you come on up. And we'll continue this flow. So our left toes go out to the side and our right foot out. So we're taking that proud warrior stance here. Hold on to the chair and drop into our proud warrior alignment with the left knee bent over the middle two toes. Holding onto the chair, we're going to lean over towards the left, towards side angle with our left elbow towards the left thigh. Reaching the right arm up. So I'm just having that chair handy. It's just so nice to have that support of a friend, even if it's this lowly object called a chair. Taking the pressure off. Sweep the right arm up. We're going to switch to the other side. So toes come forward, right toes out to the right. Angle it with your left. Align right heel, left arch, and drop it down. Bend the knee. Find your center. Reach on over, both sides reach, right arm, right thigh. Hold the chair. Just find that heart looking forward. Maybe turning your eyes up towards the sky. Maybe you can let go, left arm next to left ear, or just hold. And exhale as you come on up. So we're going to bring the feet a little bit closer here together as we flip the chair over towards so that the seat is facing us. Great. And pull it a little bit away from the body. And you know this fold forward, we're just adapting. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, bring the hands down to the seat of that chair. Again, taking that deeper fold out of this forward fold with the feet parallel. So you can see I'm still reaching. You can even reach the forearms down onto the seat of the chair and hold on to the back of the chair if that's available, depending on your furniture at home. We can still keep that engagement from the alignment of our exhale, pelvis to the diaphragm, all the way to the crown of the head. Nice. Let's get that mind into the back body as we inhale. Float on up to standing. Hands to hips. Let's heel toe ourselves into the center. Nice. Now stand back from the chair. We're going to take our way down, actually through a chair pose. So we're facing the chair and acting as if it's really there. Take the hands up towards the sky. Take them out to that V shape if you'd like. We're just going to sit back in that imaginary chair. Hold here in this diagonal, tapping into our strength. And then reach out, bending forward, reach out for that chair. Stepping your right foot forward, we're going to come down to the floor with the assistance of that chair. Take the left shin down, just holding onto the chair. Allow yourself to come down. And kneeling for just a moment, we're going to take that chair over to the side. Thank that for our lovely prop there. And then as we come down to the floor, hang on to our right side. Come on down. Nice. Take ourselves onto the back again. Hope you enjoyed that mindset of being able to reach for that little bit of a lift or modification when you need it. Inhale the left knee towards the chest right now. Take the back of the thigh, and we're going to take a figure 4 with the left ankle on the right thigh. Instead of reaching that right knee towards that right shin, instead of reaching the right thigh towards us, we're just going to come onto the tiptoe of the right foot. So press the ball of the foot into the floor, lift the heel off the floor. So you see how that brings that left the left thigh comes towards us as if we're hugging it forward, but ever so slightly, so we're not pushing past our limits in the joints. And then come on down with your right heel, lift it on up, and then down, and lift it up, lift it down. Just kind of noticing this is gently, gently opening that left hip. And now we can take that right heel to the floor and rock side to side. And we might have some noise here momentarily. Oh, I see someone's coming to my door, so I'll ignore that. Unwind. Take the left foot to the floor. Inhale the right knee towards the face. We're going to take that figure 4 on this side. Right ankle, left thigh. And let's find that center as we lift the left heel off the floor and then down to the left heel up and then down. Okay, Maddie, it's okay. And then up and down. Glad I have a watchdog. Yes, yes. Come on down. Up and down. And then when you bring the left heel down, sorry about that, folks, we're going to rock side to side. Just cradling that right hip. Not going too extreme. And then unwind yourself here. Take the feet to the floor. Another adaptation of our bridge, which we've done before, just reminding ourselves this is a nice workout for our core without going up into a full bridge. Press the feet into the floor. And as you exhale, bring the navel towards the floor, curl up through the pelvis, and lift up into a tiny bridge just with the pelvis lifted off the floor about 5 inches or so, pressing through your arms, folding shoulders away from the center line, and then back down, uncurl it, back to a neutral spine. Find your exhale, lift up, and then down. Take a few more rotations here. And then bring the knees together, feet wide apart, and we'll just do our windshield wiper here with our legs so that we take this full body twist, the full spine, softer twist, taking the thumbs to the elbow creases and then elbows out to the side away from the knees. Head side to side, away from the elbows. Your eyes wash the elbows, just reminding us yoga is about the full body experience, including our senses of sight and sound. Side to side. And then find ourselves towards a shavasana. If the chair's nearby, you can put your feet up on, legs up on the chair, and I will demonstrate that. You can place a blanket under your knees. You can place that blanket under your neck. I'm just going to put my calves up on the chair, lifting the gravity off of those joints. Take the palms to the sky, folding open across the collarbones. Heart to the sky, eyes with that softness of stargazing. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 4, holding at the end of the exhale for 2, inhaling for 4, holding for 2, exhaling for 4, holding for 2. Keep this rhythm. Evening out the breath. Visiting parts of the body that feel super comfortable. And the parts of the body that might feel lingering tension, softness, kindness there. Allow the body to percolate the newness of taking a different approach to our practice. Another inhale. Another exhale. And begin to wiggle the fingers. Wiggle the toes. The wrists and the ankles. Bending the knees and the elbows. If you have your legs up, just take the knees closer to the body. Roll onto your right side. And help yourself up to a seated position. Hope you enjoyed the modify class. Take the hands to the heart and Anjali Mudra. Thanks so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.